Sports Talk with Playeragent3. My next guest, one of the most well-rounded professional athletes that I've had the privilege of being around, former Wake Forest University Demon Deacon, Mr. Codi Mcintyre. How you doing, man?
Doing well, yourself?
I'm all right, man. Trying to, stay safe out here, man, with this COVID-19 thing going on, man. How's that affecting you?
Number one, it's affected, basketball, of course. My country got shut down before most of the other countries did. So Pennsylvania beside Italy. So once Italy went into shutdown, our country did too. So I was stuck out in Pennsylvania for a week or so during their quarantine process. And then after a week, I finally came back home. And honestly, for me personally, it's hit home a little bit, but luckily my entire family is healthy. And the good thing is that I've been able to be around my family longer than I've ever been over the last nine years of my life. So,
okay.
So that's going on.
Right, so you being a Concord guy, man, growing up in Concord, man, did you ever feel like you played second fiddle to some of the athletes that come out of Charlotte? Because I'm sure that there's some competition between Charlotte guys, Gastonia, Concord, Kannapolis, those surrounding areas, man. How was that for you growing up?
For me, I live in a little bubble. So growing up until I reached high school, until I really got on the AAU circuit, I didn't get to play against many people from Charlotte or Gastonia or even, a little bit outside of North Carolina, South Carolina, because I always went to the same YMCA right here in Concord. So if those players were coming there, then 9 times out of 10, I've never played against them. But once I got on the AAU circuit, I got to meet other players from different cities, and I started playing for an AAU team based in Charlotte and in Concord. That's when I started seeing seeing the difference of the competition, but mainly it's from, just not growing up with those players. So
yeah,
if you're a hooper, you know how it is. If you hoop at the same gym all the time with the same people and someone random walks into the gym, the vibe is like, who is this? Or where is he from?
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of more so what it's about, instead of it being Charlotte against whatever. It's more so I'm so used to being around these type of people where someone new comes to the gym, especially if they're decent. It's hold on now, you can't come can't come in this gym and try to run this gym. You know what I'm
saying? Right. So was basketball your first love?
Honestly, soccer was.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, but the difference is I guess with soccer, I just love the sport in terms of I enjoyed just playing it. I never worked out for soccer. I never seriously trained. I never had a trainer for soccer, such as one of the games where I show up on a Friday or a Saturday morning and we would play and I would just love it. But basketball, I can probably say, is the first sport and only sport that I've ever taken the time to really work on my craft. I played football a little bit, soccer, baseball, but the only sport where I'm you know what, I want to really work. I want to work on my left hand. I want to work on shooting. I want to work on different aspects of the game. Basketball was definitely the only sport that did that to me. Every reason.
Yeah, so you were a guy, man, that in your high school time, man, you weren't a McDonald's All-American. You weren't highly recruited. What was that process like, man, in terms of the work that you put in to parlay a scholarship to Wake Forest University?
I think maybe going into my sophomore year or going into my sophomore year, something clicked in my head and I just became super hyper focused on basketball and on training. And then during that time, I also had a growth spurt. During that time, I also started jumping higher. I started dunking more. So my whole mindset growing up and seeing those rankings was, I used all of that as motivation. There was one big camp, what's his name? Tyler Lewis, Rick Lewis?
Yeah.
Rick Lewis. I think he had a camp where they evaluate you. And I remember getting my evaluation back, and it was like maybe mid-major, like maybe D1, but if it is D1, it won't be like ACC or, you know, a big conference. And I just remember looking at that paper, and I was like, I'm just gonna prove them wrong. Like,
right.
In the gym, I'm gonna work hard, and every time I step on the court against one of those kids that are ranked high, one of those kids that are, you know, like is a McDonald's All-American, I just want them to feel my presence. And that's kind of the mentality I took about it, where like no matter who we play, my goal is to make my presence felt.
Right.
Even if you don't know my name after the game, you can say, dang, number 10 or number 0, he was hooping, he was killing. Like, who is he? Where's he from? Like, stuff like that. So yeah, I use it as motivation for sure.
Okay, so you're at Wake Forest University. Okay, you sign at Wake Forest University.
Yep.
The ACC, one of the premier conferences in America, year in and year out. What was that like, man, to first step on that floor at Wake, knowing that you were going to go up against the Carolinas, the Dukes, the NC States? You know, what was going through your mind at the time?
Man, a lot of pressure. If I'm being honest, when I first signed to go to Wake, I actually signed when it was 2 guards. I know 2 point guards for sure. It may have been a 3rd point guard, but there was 2 point guards for sure that was there that I would have had to compete for minutes and, you know, playing time. And I knew that going into the situation. That's part of the reason why I went. But once I signed, and maybe a few weeks later, both those guards transferred. So I went from basically being a 3rd option freshman to being a starting freshman point guard in the ACC. And it was tough. I guarded every shooting guard or point guard, whoever was the best in those positions, I guarded them. So I had to guard Seth Curry, I had to guard Eric Green. Those are 2 that I remember off the bat because they were seniors who obviously is Eric Green and Seth Curry. So man, it was definitely tough. And my first year, like, it was hard. I think one of my first games was against Ryan Boatwright, who was my teammate this year, in Sebastian Mayfield. So that was one of my matchups. Yeah, that was one of my first matchups.
Yeah,
my entire college career. So
okay,
yeah, it was definitely difficult, but I enjoyed it definitely.
Can you take me back to the first time you stepped on the floor at Cameron and the first time you stepped on the floor at the Smith Center at Carolina? What was going through your head? I mean, were the butterflies? I mean, were your palms sweaty? Or?
Now, my first year, for sure, my first year when I went to Duke, I remember being nervous because you got the Cameron crazies all around. It can almost touch you. Every time they score the ball, you think it's a game-winning shot. It was tough. No, that game was tough. I was guarding Seth. He's running the baseline the whole time off staggers, and I'm chasing him. That game was definitely hard. I can't remember my first game at Carolina. I don't know why, but I can't remember many games at Carolina, period. But one memory that does come to mind was when I was at Hargrave Military Academy. That played at Carolina, and I remember just thinking, like, dang, like, next year this is where I'm gonna be playing.
Right.
And I think I was so excited about playing against Harrison Barnes because there was just so much hype around Harrison Barnes. But once I got to college, he obviously got drafted. Like, he went to the draft early or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
Okay. Did you have and I ask a lot of guys that played in the ACC that come on the show, man, did you have a welcome to the ACC moment where, I don't know, somebody dunked on you or somebody blocked your shot, or what was your welcome to the ACC moment?
I don't know about welcome to the ACC, but welcome to college basketball, period.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Oh man, it was our first tournament. I think we were in Hawaii or the Bahamas. It was the Bahamas. The Bahamas was my first year. We just played UConn. I'm a freshman. I had like 21 or 22 against Shabazz and Ryan, so I'm feeling great. I'm feeling good. I'm thinking, like, man, this college gonna be amazing, bro. This basketball gonna be great. The very next game, Iona beat us by like 40 or 50 points. So we beat UConn by maybe 10, max 10 for sure. And then we turn around the next day and get blown out about 40 or 50 points. And I remember the first quarter, Iona hit every shot they threw up, and they were shooting all threes. So we look up, next thing you know, we're down 25-30 in the first quarter. And I'm like, man, that's definitely my welcome to college basketball.
Okay, so you're at Wake, man, and you had a pretty good career at Wake, and I'm sure you would say that you probably left some things on the table at Wake, but you did experience a year where you had an injury and you had a little setback. What was there ever a point, man, where you lost any confidence, in your abilities?
Yeah. So when I broke my foot, it was a weird transition where I was going in my life anyway. So when I broke my foot, this is around the same time I truly started studying Buddhism. So my very amateur knowledge of Buddhism at the time, I tried to use that to help me get over my foot injury where, the ability to let go, not hold on to problems, not hold on to stress, just let it all go, like everything will be fine. I used the wrong mentality dealing with my foot where when I came back, if I had a bad game, instead of being upset, mad, and, trying to figure out something to make it right, I was just like, it's one game, you just came off an injury, everything's gonna be good. So I was very passive, extremely passive about how I was performing when I first came back. I was trying to be over understanding of myself. Like, all right, coach, remember, you just had an injury. It's okay. But at the same time, I didn't truly realize that the clock is ticking. Like, college is about to be over. This is your last chance to make an impression. And I don't think it hit me until I realized it was maybe 4 or 5 games left in the season. I think those last 4 or 5 games, I picked it up a lot. It was a big difference between the Codi that got back from the injury to the Codi of the last 4 games. But yeah, I think that time was one of the toughest because before I broke my foot, I was at an all-time high, physically, mentally, my confidence. Like, I went into that season like, I'm trying to win ACC Player of the Year. Like, that was my mentality. Whether it would have happened or not, it doesn't matter, but my mentality was there because I was a leading scorer coming back, leading assists, coming back to the ACC. So I'm like, man, everything is there. I just got to take advantage of it.
Right. So when would you say you started thinking about playing basketball on a professional level? Did you always have that dream, or there was a point at Wake where you said, you know what, I can do this on the next level?
Right. No, that was definitely always my dream. From, like I said, around that sophomore year, that freshman or sophomore year, something clicked. And I'm like, all right, I want to see how far this can really take me in life. At that time, I didn't know much about overseas, so NBA was the only goal. Like, NBA was, that was my mindset, because that was my only, I didn't know about overseas basketball, honestly. But yeah, so I think around that freshman or sophomore year.
Freshman and sophomore. Okay, all right. So you finish your career at Wake, you go undrafted, but you work out with several NBA teams. Was there ever a point in any of your workouts where you felt like you were going to get picked up by a team?
Honestly, no, because I knew what situation I just came from and what college I just the years that we had. So I knew that I wasn't going to get drafted, which is crazy to say. Like, I kind of already knew because I just looked at everything and how my career panned out. But there was times in those workouts where I'm like, all right, these coaches noticed me. Like, they saw what I did, they saw what I can do. Now maybe that can lead to something later on in the future. Maybe not. They see my work ethic. They see how hard I play, and they see what I can bring to the table. So for me, it was just a great opportunity to be able to showcase that in an enclosed area where it's nothing but NBA scouts and coaches around.
Yeah. So, I mean, you took those opportunities. You end up playing overseas for, in which you're currently still playing overseas. But you got that phone call, man, about playing in NBA Summer League.
Right.
What was that like of getting that phone call that an actual NBA team wanted you to come play for them during Summer League?
Man, it was great because when I graduated college and when I met with Jamie, I remember saying, like, I remember having a plan already listed. Like, I know I'm not going to get invited to Summer League this year, but my goal is to next year have them put me on their radar. And then the next year when I left Belgium, I was on the radar, but didn't get picked up by any teams. So my goal for the next year was to know 100% that I'm going to play Summer League before the summer even happens. So when Jamie may have called me like in January, February, it was like, yo, this team, and this team want you to come play in our Summer League. And I'm like, bro, that's great because we're on target. Like, this is what we said.
Right.
We understood my plan, we understood my path, and we did it, and now we see the results from it. So when I got that message, I was excited, man, because Summer League, playing in Vegas, playing against all these top players, I'm gonna be on the NBA team, kind of like, you know. So it was definitely a great feeling for sure.
Right, and so you got the opportunity, man, to play for the Toronto Raptors during Summer League, and you also got the opportunity to play for the Lakers during Summer League. What did you take from that experience, man? Just being around those, the NBA coaches, man, practicing, and just being in that environment, man. What did you take from that?
That I'm a pro. For me, I don't need the NBA to validate my value. I don't need other people to validate my value. So it's when I got to go to Toronto, when I got to go to the Lakers, and I saw and I played against certain people who have NBA contracts, who are on NBA teams, who have 2-ways, who have 10 days, and I saw the way I performed. I'm like, it's just all about situation. It's all about politics, and it's all about maybe if that's your path or not. Mm-hmm. Especially after this year with the Lakers, I was like, yeah, I'm good enough. Like,
right.
If an NBA team picks me up one day or not, it's all good because I know I'm good enough. I see the players they have. Mm-hmm. Some people are matched up against me, and that's all I needed for myself. So I'm at peace with, whatever happens from now on. But that's the biggest thing I took away is just seeing like how so many players are in the NBA and seeing how a lot of them don't work. Mm-hmm. Have all the pieces they need to become a great player, but don't use them all. So, that's the biggest takeaway. That gave me a sense of my value. Like I may not belong there because I'm not there, but I know I can play there if ever presented a real opportunity.
Right, and then the ultimate opportunity came when you were afforded the opportunity to attend training camp with the Dallas Mavericks and play in the preseason with the Dallas Mavericks. So you were on an NBA roster. Mm-hmm. What was that like? Just being on the court with those guys, the Dirk Nowicki's, just all of the NBA guys that you had a chance to interact with. How was that for you?
It was motivating. It's very motivating, and I knew that time would only last a certain amount of time, so I tried to soak up as much information as possible during that small period of time. It was definitely great. To kind of partially achieve a dream that you've always had growing up, to have a legit NBA jersey from a legit NBA team, even though it's preseason, just to be able to have that physically there without getting it customized in the mall or something. It was a great feeling, and then at the same time, it kind of showed me like, all right, again, like I'm good enough to play here. It's just a matter of who will give me that opportunity, or if the opportunity will ever be presented. But if it really was and a true opportunity to showcase my talent was given, then I believe 100% that someone would like what they see and pick me up.
What advice, man, would you give a young kid, man, who's trying to get to the NBA? Right. You made it. Yeah. What advice would you give a young kid who's struggling, right, and need that, and just need some encouraging words, man, on trying to make it to the ultimate level?
I say work. Like, work goes undefeated. Work is undefeated. If you look at, I guarantee, if you take the NBA top 100 from my class, 2012, my high school class, if you take those NBA top 100 kids and you look at where everybody is in life, you know, minus the ones that injury or minus, you know, big family issues where they couldn't continue to play or whatever it may be, but if you just take it in terms of, you know, who worked the hardest and who didn't, you will see that people like myself who wasn't naturally gifted, who wasn't naturally just a LeBron or KD, who had to grind every day, had to grind multiple hours, like, we outlast people. And that's just the reality of the situation. Yeah, I may not have made it to the NBA, but how many people don't even make it to overseas?
Right.
You know, like, so in my mind, that's what I would say, like, work, grind, work hard, because eventually it's going to pay off. What that payoff will be, I have no clue. Maybe it won't be the NBA. Maybe it won't be overseas, but at the end of the day, you will be able to say, like, I put everything I had into this game. It just wasn't for me.
Mm-hmm. Right, yeah. So, you know, one of the things that I admire about you, Codi, is, you know, you saw the bigger picture in terms of life after basketball, and right now you have a clothing line called Patience. Talk about that and where that inspiration came from.
So my senior year at Concord Military Academy, that's when Instagram first came out. So once I got Instagram and I started following all these people, I'm seeing like basketball players living like the perfect life, the life that I wanted while I'm at an all-guy school in the military school, wearing military outfits every day. I'm seeing all of this. So at night, you know, at 10 o'clock when they turn off all the lights, I would just sit in my bed and I'd be up until like 2 or 3, maybe sometimes 4, just thinking like, man, I gotta get it. I gotta work. I gotta make it to the NBA. I gotta have a great college career. This next game gotta be great to get me on that level where I see other people. And one night I was just like, man, just relax, like calm down. You're doing fine. You're on the right path. You're working out. You're hooping. You're going to school. You're getting good grades. Like, it's all right. Like, just relax. Like, in a matter of time, you have everything that, maybe not everything you want, but everything that's meant for you. Then once I got to college, I got hit with bad anxiety and almost, I was never diagnosed with depression, but I think I kind of went through, if someone really spoke to me, I think they would have probably diagnosed me with depression, because I went through a lot in college, and eventually got addicted to sleeping medicine. So through all of that, while I'm going through that, I always kept reminding myself, be patient. I will always hashtag patience in due time for like 3 or 4 years. So once I graduated, me and my friend was sitting in the car and we were just thinking about different ideas, how to make money, blah, blah, blah. And we look up like a clothing company and we see like the ratios or whatever, like the profit and cost loss, whatever. And eventually we both were like, yo, let's just turn Patience into a clothing line. And then it just went from there. I printed my first shirts and people liked it. And then it just slowly kept expanding from them.
Now, during your time of playing basketball in Russia, man, it seems like your clothing line took off while you spent time in Russia. What was it about Russia, man, that you know, as soon as you got there, man, it just seems like things just started taking off, especially with your off the court things?
Well, one of the things that really happened is I met one of my close friends, Roman Payton. He worked for the team, and the day I signed, we automatically had like some bond. It was real strange. Like, we became close really quick, and with him, he loves fashion, he loves photography, he loves marketing and all of that. So once I got to the city, he already knew that I wasn't just going to sit in my apartment and play games and watch TV all the time. He knew I wanted to continue to expand my brand. When he introduced me to the team in front of the managers, in front of like season ticket holders. He introduced me as Codi, the basketball player, and Codi, the designer as well. So he kind of pushed me a little bit more. He helped me find manufacturers in the city and everything. So once I had access to manufacturers, to models, to photography, once I had access to all those things, for me, it just became so much easier, and the process of the creative process became so much more fun.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you're also, if people don't know this, you're also into modeling. Okay. Yeah. Do you have any other things in the works?
No, not yet, because it's more like, I don't know if I'm into modeling. I guess that is mine. I love taking pictures, and I love creative pictures. And it's a certain way I want pictures to look if I have that photographer and I can explain it to them, like, all right, this is kind of the vibe I'm going for. So yeah, so nothing seriously or super serious in the works. I'm not saying I wouldn't do it if an opportunity comes, because I think that would be dope. And of course, it's just mine. That's another stream of income. But yeah, I think that would be fun. That would be dope.
Biggest challenge you've had to overcome, man?
There's so many different ways I could answer. I need something more specific in what aspect of life.
In your as a professional athlete.
Oh man, the biggest thing I've learned is like, you're on your own. Like, you're on your own, you're a pro. Like, oh God. Nobody's gonna force you to give up extra shots. Nobody's gonna force you to, try to become the best player that you want to become. So when you go overseas, especially in my situation where you're always alone for the most part, it's like there has to be something inside of you to create that drive. And for me, it was like, I just realized, like, I'm alone. Like, I gotta do this myself. Nobody's gonna help you. If you see our family, like, our family where we come from, our parents are very involved and very supportive, but I'm in a situation where you can't do anything for me, like in terms of basketball. Like, I have to go and live in this country 10 months by myself. I have to figure out how to make a bigger contract for myself the next year. I have to put in the work. I have to figure it all out. So I think that was one of the hardest things, where you come from college, a culture of demanding you to work. Like, you need to watch film, you need to be in the gym, you need to lift weights. But once you become a pro, depending on what team you go to, you may not even have access to all those things. So I think that's the biggest thing that, I had to overcome, was the idea of like, I'm not here by myself, and I need to go get it by myself.
Right. Codi, how important, man, do you think it is for not just basketball players, man, but any professional athlete to plan for life after basketball?
It's huge. It's huge. Because basketball, people don't realize it. Even kids, young kids don't realize it, because this game is over with in the blink of an eye. Like, I'm about to turn 26. I only have, God willing, 10 to 11 more years. God willing. Like, that's,
that's a long time.
Yeah, it's a long time. But in the span of life, that means I'm finished at 38.
Yeah.
And it's like, I got a whole another 50 years, God willing, to live life. And I think the most important thing is, especially in a situation of being overseas, even if you're on one of those teams where you're making $1 million a year, you're still not making the NBA money that certain people are making. So with us, we can't go and spend our money the way NBA players do it, because we go spend $10,000. If they go spend $10,000, the difference is next month they're getting a check for $100,000, and we get a check for whatever it may be, not $100,000. So I think it's very important to plan, for whatever career you want to have after basketball. We have so much free time overseas to really put ourselves in a position, so when that career change happens, we really have something set up. So I think it's highly important. I think that more schools should preach that to, student athletes.
Right. All right, man. I want to do this quick word game, man. I'm gonna say a word, man. You just the first thing that comes to mind before I let you get out of here, man. The first one is JCK Sports Group. What's the first thing that comes to mind?
Family.
Goldie Bell.
Who?
Goldie Bell.
Goldilocks.
All right, man. Listen, this is the last thing right here, man. It's called free game, man. I want you to give the people some free game, man. It could be about life, man. It could be about, just something inspirational, man, because, we're going through some terrible times right now, man. So just, just give us some free game.
Man, how deep do I want to make this? I'll probably say, okay, yeah, so during a time like this where everything is so like, it's in a gray area, the economy's in a dark place, a lot of people are losing loved ones, a lot of people are separated from loved ones. I would probably say like, this is a time to not lose faith, but kind of increase your faith in whatever it is that you believe in, because dark times don't last, rain doesn't last forever, and it's like, once this happens, once this is over with, there's going to be something greater to come, and any book, any movie you watch, there's always a big tragedy, or usually a big tragedy right before, that shining moment in life, or in the movie, or in the book, or whatever. So I definitely probably say like, everybody just keep your head up, stay safe, and then, once all this is over with, we'll see what greatness comes from this dark time that the entire world is in, because that's what's going to happen. Something great is going to happen after all of this.
All right, man. I appreciate that, man. What's your social media handle, man, and where can everybody purchase your gear?
Right. So my social media is Codi, and then my business information where you can find all the stuff that I create is on CMM Patients. So both of those are Instagram. Codi is my personal, and then CMM Patients is my business.
All right, man. I appreciate you taking time out your busy day, man, to come on the show, man. I wish you nothing but the best success in the future, which I know will definitely happen.
No doubt. Well, I appreciate it. Yeah.
All right, man. We'll talk soon.
Yeah.
Sports Talk with Playeragent3.